I am not nearly as prepared as Ron is, so you guys will learn very quickly. I'm really scrappy. I'm a gabber. I love to talk. Maybe I'll use your timer.
Absolutely.
I am just really excited to be here. I'm a little rusty on my public speaking. It's been a little while, so just bear with me. I really want this to be interactive. I don't want to put you to sleep. This is like so unserious. It's just social media. And so I want this to be engaging, learning. I want you to walk out of here feeling like you actually like have a tangible action item. Not too many, just one, maybe two. I also want to talk about content creation. So it's fairly new. And so we're going to get into a lot of good zhuzh. But what's most important to me is that it's helpful for you. I think we have a wide range of experience levels and a wide range of businesses in the room, which I love. And so I've done my best to kind of hit on the broad strokes, but like, let me know what you want to know. We're going to do a lot of Q&A at the end. And I want to make sure that like you really feel good walking out of here. First, I want to tell you who I am. My name is Liz. I am the owner of the Lucky Share, which was Connecticut's first wedding content creation business. I quit my corporate job. I'm all for quitting your corporate job. Ask me in 3 years. We'll see how this goes. I quit my corporate job last year. I ran corporate hospitality for the world's largest hedge fund for a decade. Want to talk about hard knocks, the finance types? Not my people, not my bag. And so I did it for a while. I got, an education there. I was essentially running my own $80 million business within the world's largest hedge fund. And I started doing that when I was how old was I? I was 25 when I started there. And so imagine that, you're literally handed $80 million. They're like, go run C-suite hospitality for the world's largest hedge fund. And I didn't know what a hedge fund was. 10 years later, I came out running. I was the youngest female department head in the company. And I was able to walk away from it and start my own business at the age of 35. And so it's been a whirlwind. I'll talk all about why I started my business, but we're coming up on the 1 year mark. Ron's 1 year in his studio. Lucky Shares almost turned 1, and I'm really excited. So I also want to thank Ron first before I keep going. Thank you, Ron, for having me.
My pleasure.
There was one thing I noticed about Ron immediately. It was that he was so welcoming and he was so excited. Content creators have had kind of a mixed reception. People are like, they have that natural curiosity where they're like, what the hell? What is she doing? What's the phone and the thingy and
the
gimbalies? Like, what's going on? And so I saw the like, and he immediately was just so welcoming. Get over here, get in here. Do you want this shot? Like, he didn't even know what I was doing yet. And he was like, look at this, like, come look. And I was like, man, this guy's awesome. And so I just want to thank Ron. I think he's an incredible human, and I'm just really lucky to be here. So thanks for having us, Ron.
Somebody needed to.
Okay, now I'm rambling. Now I need the timer.
What do you need?
Clickies, Ron.
What do you need? Click.
I
Ready?
need clickies.
Next.
Okay. I want to start you off with a quote. Content builds relationships. Relationships are built on trust. Trust drives revenue. This is going to be a little bit of marketing because social media is marketing. The whole reason we're here, we might be doing social media for fun, but like, are we? No, we're not. We're doing social media because it drives revenue. It works. It works for a reason. If your social media is not turning into money in your pocket, why would we care, right? We don't. You might do it on your personal time to connect with family members, connect with friends, all that good stuff and beautiful stuff that social media can be. But for your business, this should be a revenue driver. In order to make revenue in today's market, people need to trust you. That is a very new undercurrent with millennials, Gen Z, and beyond. They're not just buying things from people they don't trust. That goes into like, why are they asking brides on Facebook that they don't even know who they booked for photography? It's because they're literally trying to figure out like, who can I trust to make this decision? That's why we care. Clickies, next. This is so small now. All right, I'm gonna hit you with some facts and figures. Let's start with some stats. This originally said, why do we give a shit? But like, why do we care? Why do we care? 87% of marketers say that video marketing has directly increased sales. This is across business in general. right? Show me another marketing channel with that net and that return. So 87% of marketers say when we invest in video marketing, it directly increases our sales. Short form video offers marketers the highest return on investment of any social media marketing strategy, say that 3 times fast, with 30 to 60 second videos seeing the most success. So again, in terms of tangible things I want you taking away, 30 to 60 second videos have the highest ROI. 75% of engaged couples use social media and search engines to research and follow vendors. I'm gonna say that again, 75% of engaged couples are searching for their vendors on social media.
Okay.
One of the top 8 pre-engaged planning actions couples are taking is to immediately follow vendors they're interested in on socials. And so we'll talk a little bit about the customer workflow and like how is this actually happening. Most of my friends, and I was like lucky enough, I have a very clear like focus group as I was building my business. All my friends were getting married and they were like seeing things being tagged. They were following the vendors they liked. And then 6 months later, when they were ready to start actually signing contracts and making deposits, that's the group they were pulling from. And they had watched that vendor's behavior for 6 months before they were ready to jump. They're doing that before they're even engaged. I'm doing it. I'm like, why do I want to get married? And I've got my whole list, my save board on Instagram. 44% of people prefer to learn about a new product or service via short form video content. This is new and this is unique to kind of the shifting in younger generations, right? People don't want to really read anymore. And I'm sure most of you experience that, right? You send an email to a client, you're like, did they even read that? They're like asking you the thing you just sent them. They don't want to read. And so people want to watch. They want to watch, they want to see, and they want to hear it. They don't want to read. They might not even want to like talk to you on the phone. They want to watch a video about it. Again, right or wrong, like it, hate it, it is what it is. The facts don't lie. 51.2%, very specific, of people research brands online before making a purchase. So this again goes into that pre-engagement activity of what's happening. They are heavily researching before they buy. They're really protecting their pocket and their dollar. And so the amount of time it takes to court your client and keep that lead warm is really long. And half of people are researching everything online before they buy. That goes for any purchase, not just wedding vendors. Next, Ron's like, what are you doing back there? He's moving.
I'm fired.
He's moving
I'm fired.
action figures.
Yeah,
this
I am.
This is so fun.
My Star Wars guy fell over, sorry.
I love it. I love you, Ron. Okay, so here is this literally happened yesterday. And as I was going through my slides of like, I want to give some like real tangible examples of the why do we care. Sometimes it's hard for me to explain in a very like fact-based way and tangible way that allows you to replicate the results. Like, why does this work? Here is one. Yesterday I went to a styled shoot. I've done like way too many styled shoots in my first year of business. I'm exhausted every single time I go to one. I'm like, why am I doing this again? And every single time it returns dividends for me. I have another friend who recently started a wedding business and is like, I feel like I don't get anything out of these. Like I'm sending my stuff, I'm doing the thing, but like it doesn't net anything for me. And we started talking about like the different activities we were doing, and the difference is what we're doing on social media. I didn't realize what I was doing. It was all intrinsic and by accident. And that's honestly just because I like attention and I knew how to like use social media through time. And then I learned how to apply it to my business. This is literally what I did yesterday. I went to a styled shoot in New Jersey where I didn't know a single vendor, knew nobody. I didn't even know what the shoot was gonna be, unprepared. I just showed up. This is the literal what I did. I posted 10 stories at the shoot and I tagged all of the vendors in each story. I made one reel that was 40 seconds long. I reshared 2 stories from other vendors that were there, and I accepted 1 collab post from the photographer. So it's 4 actions. I'm gonna say this took me probably 30 minutes to an hour of behavior. The what happened, this is just since Literally, I got home yesterday at 9 o'clock. This is what's happened. I have 22 new followers. I dug into those a little bit. 4 of them are currently engaged in wedding planning. So I have 4 new brides who just followed me yesterday from the shoot. I was followed by 5 peers who are offering the same service that I didn't even know they existed. They weren't on my radar at all. 13 wedding vendors in a new market, so 13 vendors from New Jersey started following me. We got 113 likes. We got 42 comments, over 3,000 views. Since I left my house and wrote this down, we have another 1,500 views on it. All 10 stories had about 300 views on average. I got 2 inquiries from couples. I got 3 inquiries from small businesses. And I engaged in my DMs and comments with 45 people. Whoo, girl, I've been busy. But you can't tell me that this isn't impactful, right? In 12 hours, show me another marketing medium that's gonna give you those results. And so sometimes it's it can be tricky. I'm not doing this every single time I post something. I'm not digging into the analytics that gritty. And Insta's analytics won't tell you this specifically what's going on. But when you dig and you look man, for 30 minutes to an hour of effort and no money in marketing dollars spend, holy shit, that matters. Sorry, I cried. Ron wants to put this on YouTube, and I was I don't know if I can censor myself.
Sailor.
There's a sailor. Next.
Beep. We'll bleep it out.
Yeah, are you okay with me taking questions during, Ron?
If that's
that
what you
cool?
want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions for either one of us, we can do that also.
Yeah.
Any questions so far?
Yeah, on that alone?
Yes.
Example? Yeah. That was on Instagram. Okay. Great question. We will talk a little bit more about platforms. There's 1,000,006 platforms. Every day a new one pops up, and it's are you on Threads? Are you on Snapchat? The kids are using this nowadays. I'm going to simplify that for you just a little bit with one key question, but this was all on Instagram.
Next.
Are you just taking videos with your phone?
Yeah, that's all with my phone. I'm gonna show you how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you how to do it. Okay.
Next.
Let's get into the 4 basics. I think this is what is most important to be a successful business on social media. There's so much to unpack, right? And as with anything, you can dive in and you can get lost for weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm gonna keep this really simple for you guys. Know your audience, set clear goals, identify and narrow down your content buckets, and put high quality content out into the world. So we're gonna dive into each one of those, but at its core and at its essence, it's these 4 things. When you go on social media, you will get just hounded with advice about how to trend on social media, right? Every time you start scrolling, they're preying on your every insecurity. They're use this trending audio and you will go viral. Have you done these 3 things today to make your business blow up? Ignore it. Ignore all of that junk. It is exactly that. It's noise. It overcomplicates it for you on purpose.
That's good advice.
Keep it, because it's frustrating, right? And when you're trying to figure it out and you're just being pelted, keep it really simple and tight to these 4 things and it will work. Let's dive in. Know your audience. This is obviously a core tenet of marketing, but I think it is often just leaped right over. Most businesses are not spending enough time here. This should be creepy. You should be in it with your client. Imagine you are sitting in their living room with them at night. They just got home from work. What are they talking about? What are they watching? What are they consuming? How do they feel in the world? What do their lives look like? It should be that specific. And so when I say be super specific, when people ask me what am I doing wrong? And I ask, what is your audience? And they say, well, it's newly engaged couples. That doesn't tell me anything, barely. And so you really, really need to dig in as many layers as you can. To some people, this level of specificity can be scary, especially when you're a new business, because you're I don't want to weed people out like that, right? I don't want to get so niche specific, but I guarantee you, in order for any kind of marketing strategy to work, you need to be that specific. you can always change your mind, right? You can always get super specific and then be like, actually, that's not my client. Like, yeah, finance types are not for me. Like, let's back it up and go a different direction. You use this to guide your decision-making on what platforms. So same thing, so much noise on platforms, right? And it's exhausting. You're like, I'm sorry, I need to make content for what? YouTube, Pinterest, Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram? You want me on LinkedIn? What are you talking about? Threads now? Twitter? X, whatever the hell it's called? You want to be making strategic decisions about what platforms you are on based on your audience, right? And based on your business goals. And so we'll get into business goals, but like, man, if your audience is Gen Z, right? And then you start narrowing it down, like, they're on TikTok. You need to be doubling down on TikTok. They don't care about LinkedIn. They're not reading it. Like, why are you posting all these aspirational business posts on LinkedIn unless you want to be a business coach? Like, that probably doesn't align. And so you want to be really thoughtful about which platforms you're on. I usually recommend doubling down on 2 to start, and then you can expand from there. Like, I'm struggling to even double down on 1 in my first year. And so my recommendation is like, pick the one that's like your best bang for buck, where most of your audience is, double down on it, master it, and then go to your next platform. What's happening in the building, Ron?
Heat. It's called the heat. Sorry. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, that's special. I like that. That's got character. Consider it when creating your content, right? What does your target client want? And so when you're thinking about knowing your audience, like, that's when I say get weird with it, get creepy, right? Like, are they worried about how they're going to afford their wedding? Or do they have endless budget and, you know, what a dream? And they're like, how do I make my wedding go TikTok viral? Like, what are they worried about? What do they want to see more about and learn more about? How do they want to learn it? That's also super important. We know video matters, and we know it needs to be short, quick, to the point. But like, do they want to sit down and watch a 10-minute YouTube? Are they techie types that like they want to get really specific? Or are they tired after work and they just want to laugh, right? They just want to like see the cutest clip you have in your camera roll today. The more you tailor your content to the right client, the higher your conversions will be. And so when we talk about how do you make this all make money for you, it's conversions. And so, you know, you think about a marketing funnel. Hopefully that's not a new word to anybody. But in your marketing funnel, right, you have your leads. This is really...
I'm sorry.
I feel like...
I'm sorry.
I feel like I need to like...
I know it's Holyoke, but sorry.
I'm like sweating in time with the sound effects. Like going in a battle.
Could be worse, right?
True.
I know. You've got Thanos Club. So the conversions is what's going to make you money, right? People say this to me all the time. I'm doing so much on social media. I'm spending so much time on this, and I'm not getting any leads out of it. No one is buying. So there's a mismatch here, right? Somewhere you're not creating content for your target client, or your target client isn't who you think it is, right? And so you need to adjust something in your formula there. And then I already said this, I could say this all day. Filter out the noise of social media advice that is out there. Always consider, what is that person trying to sell you, right? They're probably trying to sell you social media management or something. I'm not gonna sell you on content creation services today. Frankly, we're at capacity. I'm gonna be so for real. But like, consider, who is that coming from? A lot of the social media advice is coming from influencers. We are not full-time content creators, right? We're just not. We are running a business. We need content creation to be successful, and so it's this ancillary thing that we have to do. We are not full-time content creators. We're not influencers, most of us. Do I have any influencers here that I didn't know about? No. Ron, maybe? And so don't listen to them, right? Like, they're gonna give you advice about what you should be doing. Just ignore it, because you'll get lost. Is any of this helpful? Is anybody
Yes,
like,
very
are we
much,
vibing
very
with
much
this?
so.
Is this good?
Yeah, very
Okay.
much so.
Clickies. Thanks, Ron. This is an example about know thy audience. So because I'm creepy with my audience, I know that my audience loves Taylor Swift. And that's like, you might say like, duh, everybody loves Taylor Swift, but no, like my niche of couple is very interested in what T Swift is doing. And so because I know that, it allows me to get quick results with content in this way. I'm watching the Super Bowl, I'm seeing Taylor Swift make all these hilarious faces, and I'm like, that's a meme. There's a meme there. Mm-hmm. Very quickly, like boring commercials. Commercials were bad this year, right? I'm like not into it. And so I just start pumping out like a few memes that I think my client or audiences that I'm trying to attract, like wedding vendors that I don't know yet or that I want them to recommend me to their clients. I'm like, let me just make some quick memes. This took me 15 minutes to make on Canva. I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling extra spicy and witty that night, and so that did come to me like a little quicker.
That's true.
I was extra spicy, but I got like probably 5 memes out of it on a carousel. I posted it immediately. Within, I'm gonna say 12 hours, these were my results. Because that was a very like quick and easy share, a lot of people resonated with it. Out of this, I had, let's see, this is really interesting to me, right? Because what it meant is that people were sharing it en masse. 260 people shared this on their stories. Almost 1,800 people who didn't know about me before saw it, just from their stories. And the types of people that were sharing it, I was like, yeah, like this worked. It was wedding planners in markets I'm not in yet. It was friends tagging their bride friend who had just picked out their second look, right? And so I'm like, okay, like these are people who I want to see me and know who I am. Out of it, I think it says, I got 14 follows out of it, but again, like for 15 minutes, not bad. I had 3 people. If you guys aren't in your analytics, like spend some time here. It's not fun, it's boring, but it does tell us if it's working or not. Mm-hmm. This tells me that 3 people visited my website just from that post. Cool, not bad for 3 minutes on Super Bowl evening. Clickies?